I mean, overall, we knew it was going to be a tough quarter. Sales of the biggest unit, the fashion and leather goods units, were down 9%, so slightly worse than expected. And that's the unit that includes the top brands, Louis Vuitton, Christian Dior. And some analysts now, there are concerns that LVMH top brands are no longer delivering what they call best in class. And it's true if you compare to Brunello Cucinelli, which in the same period, in the first half, they deliver 10% growth. They make high-end cashmere sweaters, or even Richemont, they own Cartier and Van Cleef, and they also grew. Louis Vuitton, LVMH owns Tiffany and Bulgari, and that division, watches and jewelry, was flat. So there are concerns there. On the better side, you have wines and spirits. It was slightly better than expected. I mean, it was still negative. It's a unit that's been struggling for the past 2.5 years. Hennessy Cognac is a drag. It's suffering the US and China. But what we're seeing is like a slight improvement, especially of champagne sales in the US. Overall, local demand is relatively resilient. That's what the CFO said. However, tourism spending is slightly weaker, especially Chinese are no longer spending as much in Japan. And American tourists are curbing spending as well in Europe amid the weaker dollar.
Yeah. And the thing about LVMH is people typically associate it with the handbags, but they're involved in so many different brands across the spectrum, from spirits to beauty. Is there now going to be a lot more pressure on LVMH to perhaps restructure or divest away from some of these companies?
Yes, I mean, that's the eternal question. And I guess when things are slowing, investors pay more attention to what we call the conglomerate discount. LVMH will offer you leather goods, handbags, which carry typically higher margins than Sephora, which is a retailer at the end of the day. So right now, when things are slowing, ideally what you would see is that one unit is compensating for the lack of growth of another unit. However, here what we're seeing is that fashion and leather goods unit and the wines and spirits unit, are both struggling at the same time. There's no indication that anything massive is going to be happening. I mean, there were questions whether they would spin off Moet Hennessy or Sephora. Right now, it's not on the agenda. There may be some cleaning up happening at Moet Hennessy. But investors, when they buy into LVMH, they know they're buying into Louis Vuitton, but also all the rest of the assets.